Nobody expected it. Not the tournament officials. Not the media. Not even her own team. One moment, the top seed at a WTA 125 event in Birmingham was warming up for the biggest match of her week, and the next, a black Range Rover pulled up to a side entrance that most people didn't even know existed, and everything changed. A prince had shown up, unannounced, and he wasn't there for the headlines. He wasn't there for Wimbledon-level stars or Grand Slam champions. He came for a 21-year-old girl from Manila who had spent the last 2 years doing something the tennis world still couldn't fully explain. Something that had nothing to do with rankings or prize money or prestige. Something that had to do with a kind of fire that you either have or you don't, and Alex Eala unmistakably, undeniably has it. But here's the part nobody talks about first. Before the prince arrived, before the private meeting that would trend across 2 continents, before a single royal word was spoken, this girl had already done something at Edgbaston Priory Club that most professional athletes twice her age have never done. And understanding what she did, and why it mattered, is the only way to understand why a future king quietly cleared his schedule on a Thursday afternoon and drove to a tennis club in Birmingham. Not Wimbledon. Birmingham. Let that sit for a second. The grass season in women's tennis is brutal in a very specific way. It rewards aggression, punishes hesitation, and has no patience for players who are still figuring out who they are. The clay season had just ended, and for Alex, it had not been kind. There was a first-round exit at Roland Garros that the headlines covered briefly and then moved on from, the way the tennis world always moves on from results that don't match the narrative it's already decided to tell. Critics who had been watching her career with a strange mixture of admiration and skepticism quietly nodded. The fitness concerns that the WTA had raised concerns serious enough that she'd had to sign a waiver just to compete felt like a shadow that had followed her all the way from Paris to England. But shadows don't follow you onto grass. Grass is where Alex Eala runs toward the light. She had just won her first grass court title weeks earlier, and she arrived at the Lexus Birmingham Open ranked 37 in the world, seated first in the draw, and carrying the weight of a nation that had learned to watch her every match like it was a national event. In the Philippines, this wasn't tennis. This was something closer to a shared heartbeat. Her first-round match against Australia's Priscilla Hahn lasted 59 minutes. 59. She won a 22-minute first set without dropping her serve once, won 100% of her first serve points in that set, and did it all while thousands of Philippine flags waved in the stands and a sound that doesn't usually belong to a WTA 125 event filled the air. That sound was laban, a Filipino word that doesn't translate cleanly into English but lives somewhere between fight and believe, and I refuse to let you down. If you've never heard it chanted by thousands of people in a foreign country for a girl who represents something much bigger than tennis, you can't fully understand what the energy inside Edgbaston Priory Club felt like that week. But this is where the story gets complicated. Because the second round didn't go like the first round. Not even close. Alina Cornet, a Russian qualifier who had scraped through her own first-round battle with nothing to lose and everything to prove, didn't read the script. She pushed Alex to the absolute edge. By the middle of the second set, Alex was down 2-5, one game away from a third set, one bad game away from a storyline that would have followed her for months. The crowd had gone quieter. The flags were still waving, but the energy had shifted from celebration to prayer. And then something happened that, if you watch it back on video, doesn't look like a comeback. It looks like a switch being flipped. 5 consecutive games. Not rushed. Not desperate. Precise, controlled, almost calm, the way the most dangerous players in the world go about destroying you when they've decided the match is over. 6-2, 7-5. She walked off the court like she'd known the whole time. The quarterfinals were waiting. And so, apparently, was someone else entirely. June 4th, 2026. Thursday afternoon. The Black Range Rover didn't announce itself. Security tightened at the player's entrance with the kind of quiet efficiency that tells you something significant is happening without anyone saying a word. Tournament staff who'd worked the event for years exchanged looks. Word traveled fast through the kind of internal communication that doesn't make it onto official feeds. A royal visitor had arrived. Unscheduled. Unannounced. Prince William, the Prince of Wales, the future King of England, had come to Edgbaston Priory Club. His official calendar for June 2026 was full of the things you'd expect: his homelessness prevention initiative, Earthshot commitments, charitable appearances across the country. None of those things were in Birmingham on this Thursday. And yet here he was, requesting through tournament officials to meet the top seed. The Filipino girl with the flags and the chants and the story that had been quietly building for years. When someone delivered that message to Alex mid-warm-up, witnesses say she stopped completely, looked up, said, "The Prince of Wales?" But there was a pause. Then she walked toward the private lounge. The room was simple. A window overlooking center court. A navy blazer. A familiar smile that somehow, even in this context, put people at ease. The meeting lasted approximately 15 minutes, and no cameras were allowed inside, which is precisely why it spread faster than any photograph ever could. Fragments began to emerge within hours. From tournament staff positioned nearby. From royal aides who understood exactly what was happening. From members of Alex's own team who couldn't contain what they'd witnessed. The prince had praised her performances. Had spoken about her resilience in the face of the WTA's fitness controversy with a directness that surprised everyone in the room. Had expressed genuine admiration for the Filipino fans who had turned a WTA 125 event in Birmingham into something that felt closer to a World Cup qualifier. And then he said something that nobody in that room had expected. That he leaned forward slightly. The room had already gone quiet, but it went quieter still. "Alex," he said, "what you've accomplished not just this week, but everywhere you've refused to back down is remarkable. You've brought joy to millions. You've inspired young athletes across the Commonwealth. And you've done it with grace under pressure that most people never develop in an entire lifetime." Alex Eala, who had stared down WTA officials and signed waivers and played through scrutiny and walked onto courts where the crowd wasn't always on her side, found herself, for one of the only times anyone can remember, completely speechless. He wasn't finished. "I've been following your journey. The way you carry your country on your shoulders, it reminds me of what sport is supposed to be. Not just winning, inspiring." And then, quietly, came the moment that would travel around the world before midnight. "I want you to know that the royal family is watching. And we are proud of what you represent. If there's ever anything we can do to support tennis development in the Philippines, to help grow the sport in communities where children are dreaming and have nothing but a dream, my office is open." The silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was the silence of something landing. Of something enormous settling into a space that hadn't been designed to hold it. Alex found her voice. "Your Royal Highness," she said, "I don't even know what to say. This means more than you know. Not just for me, for every kid in the Philippines who's ever looked at a tennis court and thought it wasn't for someone like them." The prince smiled. The kind of smile that doesn't perform for cameras. "Then keep winning," he said. "The Commonwealth is behind you." When Alex walked out of that lounge, those who saw her said she looked different. Not emotional in a tearful way. Different in a way that's harder to describe, lighter and heavier at the same time. The way you feel when something has been confirmed that you always believed but couldn't prove. She had a quarterfinal to prepare for. She didn't say a word to the press. She walked directly toward the practice courts, and people who were watching said she moved like someone who had just been handed something they intended to use. The story broke before the sun went down. Within the first hour, the hashtag Eala Meets Royalty was trending in the Philippines. By midnight Manila time, it had crossed into the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, the UAE. Over 2 million posts before morning. But what was striking, genuinely striking, wasn't the volume. It was the tone. Because this wasn't the usual fan celebration. This was something raw. Something that carried years of watching and waiting and believing inside it. One post from Quezon City read simply, "He didn't go to Wimbledon. He didn't go to the French Open. He came to Birmingham. A WTA 125. He came for her." Thousands of people liked it in silence because sometimes the truest things don't need a response. British fans joined with a warmth that felt earned rather than polite. "She's brought more energy to Birmingham than we've seen in years," one local supporter wrote. "The prince knows exactly what he's doing. Eala is special, and now the whole country knows it." The Philippine government issued a formal statement. President Marcos called the meeting a testament to Alex's global impact and the pride she continues to bring to the Filipino people. And then, quietly, the official social media accounts of the British royal family posted something that, for an unannounced visit, was extraordinarily rare an acknowledgement. No photos from the private meeting. Just words. The prince had attended the Birmingham Open. He had met with emerging tennis talent Alex Eala. That was enough. The internet treated it like a photograph. For Alex, the weight of what had happened couldn't fully settle yet. There was a quarter-final match the following morning. Maningkaria Sawanko of Thailand, a name she knew well. They had met in the final of the 2025 Southeast Asian Games, a match Alex had won convincingly. But that was clay. This was grass. And everything was different now, not just the surface, but the air around her, the gravity of what she was carrying. She walked onto center court June 5th and the flags were already waving. They were always waving. But something about the sound of Laban that morning felt fuller, like it had been amplified by everything that had happened the day before. She took the first set 6-3. Closed the second 6-4. It wasn't dominant in a way that makes highlights. It was controlled in a way that makes history, the quiet kind of greatness that doesn't announce itself but just keeps arriving match after match, regardless of what the world is saying or not saying about you. Her post-match interview was brief. She had learned, over these years, to be careful with words in public, to give the press what it needs without giving away what's sacred. But when the question about the prince came, she didn't deflect. "Meeting His Royal Highness," she said, and paused for just a moment, "was something I don't have words for yet. It reminded me that what we do matters. Not just to Filipinos. To people everywhere. Sport connects us." She paused again, the way she does when something important is trying to find the right shape. "I'm going to keep fighting for the Philippines. For every kid who's watching. And now I know that the Commonwealth is watching too." The crowd response wasn't just applause. It was the sound a crowd makes when something true has been said in public. Here's the part of this story that doesn't get written about in the immediate aftermath of a trending hashtag. Prince William didn't have to go to Birmingham. He didn't have to go to a WTA 125 event. He didn't have to clear his schedule quietly, without announcement, without cameras, without the machinery of royal optics doing its usual work. He could have sent a letter, a representative, a social media acknowledgement from a comfortable distance. He did none of those things. He got in a car and drove to Edgbaston Priory Club to sit across from a 21-year-old from Manila and look her in the eyes and tell her that what she was doing mattered, that the royal family was watching, that a door was open, that offered to support grassroots tennis development in the Philippines, to help grow the sport in communities that have dreamed without resources for generations. Is not a press release. It is a direction. And if it becomes what it could become, the name Alex Eala won't just be attached to tournament wins and rankings and Grand Slam runs. It will be attached to something that outlasts all of those things. To courts built in places that didn't have them. To children who find the game because someone with a flag and a waiver and an absolute refusal to break showed them it was possible. This is the part of the story that the trending hashtag can't contain. Laban, as a word, as a concept, as a sound heard in Birmingham and Manila and everywhere in between, is not just about fighting through a tennis match. It's about fighting for something you can barely name because it's bigger than any name you have for it. Alex Eala has been fighting for that thing since the first day she picked up a racket, and somewhere along the way, the world started paying attention. Not all at once. Slowly, then suddenly, the way the most important things always happen. A prince noticed. A crowd roared. A girl from the Philippines walked out of a private lounge with her eyes glistening and a quarterfinal to win and a whole Commonwealth at her back. The story isn't over. In many ways it's just beginning. But if you want to understand what sport can do, not the rankings, not the prize money, not the trophies, but what it can actually do to people, to countries, to children watching from places nobody in tennis had ever thought to look, then you need to keep watching. Because whatever Alex Eala does next, she's not doing it alone anymore.